Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Bro, what are you doing? Calm
Dude,
down.
I'm excited. I got a new RTR Mustang.
Yeah, well, I got a new old 2022 Roush. So
You're proud of that?
proud as I can be.
Dude, look at this. Look at these wheels.
Look,
Yeah.
Look at this.
Supercharged.
30.
Oh.
You know, it's still
Okay.
Still
okay.
good. Yeah, we're in the canyons, bro. It's gonna get dirty a little bit.
That's true. That's true. And they're both black, which also doesn't help with the color. But
That's true.
we've brought out two actually really, really cool Mustangs that are, I guess you can say, aftermarket or new, or I mean, I don't know. What do you classify them as? They are technically under factory warranty.
I mean, they're still new Mustangs, both of them, even if this is a 2022, still a brand new Mustang, actually.
True.
But we got two actually different generations here.
That's exactly true. And that's one of the main reasons we brought them out. We really just wanted to go over main differences between this, which is obviously an S650 generation Mustang, and that, which is the S550. Can you guys believe this thing is about 10 years old now? Not this specific car, but this generation. And we're already on a new one. That's crazy, Trent.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
I think we should just get right into it. Let's talk about
Let's hop into
the
it.
differences.
My name is Evo.
My name's Trent.
And you're watching God Next.
All right, so I'm thinking the first one we talk about right here is gonna be this 2022 Roush Mustang. This is technically a new Mustang, if you can believe it or not.
You just said it's a 2022.
Yeah, well,
How is this a new Mustang?
It hasn't been sold yet. It hasn't had a first owner ever.
Oh, well, why aren't you the first owner?
Well, because I don't want a Roush, to be honest. But they are cool Mustangs.
This is definitely a cool Mustang. So Roush, if you guys don't know, obviously it's one of the older modification companies for the Mustangs. You have this, Saleen, of course, Shelby and everything. But this is one of the ones where the name is in there. Like you say Roush Mustang, people know what you're talking about. It's not like...
I think the issue with the 2022 though, and I feel like the reason why this one isn't sold, it's not as well known as like the Saleens, the Shelbys, first of all.
True.
The RTR is kind of on the same, I'd say, page as this.
Yeah.
So I think people more lean for that Shelby compared to this.
That's true. And I mean, you gotta remember, this is a 10-year-old platform car. Like, it got a facelift in 2018 with the headlights and everything, but overall, this car's from 2015. So you're technically buying a Mustang from 2015. Obviously, again, 10-speed. It's got the newer transmission looks. It is supercharged with a Ford Performance supercharger, the same one that's technically in the GT500. So this thing is really quick. I mean, I think it makes like 750 horsepower.
Yeah,
Last time I checked.
I don't know the exact number, but just driving up here, I stepped on the gas and this thing was taking off.
No,
like,
it is.
You'd get
this is
honestly quite a bit of wheel spin, to be honest.
How many people did you crash into?
I mean,
it is a Mustang.
I don't want to say how many, but quite a few.
Good.
How about you though? You know, you're also driving a Mustang.
Oh, 90.
Yeah.
90 crowds.
How come 90? Is there a specific reason?
We'll get to that in a second when we get to the Mustang. But this thing is cool. In all honesty, it's cool. And I do like how Roush actually did not just the looks thing and obviously the engine, but the interior as well. It's got the brown interior that says Roush. You have the Roush across the windshield, which this is a nice looking Mustang, if I'm being honest. I mean, you know, the front, it's got a different grille in the front with the Roush logo. The splitter's a little bit more pronounced down there. It's nice.
To be honest, I really do like the wheels that are on this car. I like how it contrasts the overall black of this car. You've got that little pop right there. But honestly, having this one sit next to the new generation Mustang, I actually do like. This one has more of that classic look. I mean, technically it is outdated.
It is outdated now. Yeah.
But it kind of reminds me of like the older Mustangs, more so compared to that one.
That one does look really cool. And actually, let's move on to the RTR. So the RTR, if we're being honest, I think it looks better.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this one does look.
I mean, this thing looks aggressive. And again, speaking on the modification side of the Mustang industry, or whatever you want to call it, RTR is a relatively newer company. It actually started with that generation of the Mustang, if we're being honest. I mean, they did some S197 stuff, but it wasn't as prominent as that. The reason why it's gotten so big is because of social media. I mean, you have Von Gittin Jr., who, you know, is the guy that he drifts the RTR Mustangs. And now that's why there are kits with them. I mean, as you guys can see, this thing does have a body kit. You've got another pronounced splitter. You have the iconic RTR stuff on the front with a little, I guess you could call them daytime LED running lights or whatever. These actually are on constantly when the car is running. Nice aggressive grille. This one is black, which makes it just that much more menacing. These grills are real.
These ones are not.
And these actually, when you pop the hood, like, you can see through it. And the supercharger is actually pretty cold, which is interesting because obviously with a supercharged car or any boosted car. You want IATs to be low, and that helps. I don't know how I feel about this graphics package. I think it's kind of cheap.
It is kind of cheap, but I like how it's subtle. It's not. It doesn't just stand out.
Well, it doesn't stand out because the car's black. I feel like if you had a white car, like a grabber blue car, it would stick out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've always preferred just cars, just no graphics package. I just think they look cleaner.
Yeah.
But that's all down to personal preference, honestly.
Yeah.
One thing I like about RTRs compared to Roush, and this is just something stupid, but I think RTR's logo just looks way better, especially on the car like the Roush is.
Sure.
Roush looks ugly.
Well, yeah, this one is very, it's very subtle, and I mean, again, being gray matches with the black, and it's just, there's nothing too crazy. That one has red on it and all that. This is cool, and I gotta say though, these wheels way better than those ones.
Yeah, these things are super nice.
Yeah, these are crazy. Of course, this starts life as a premium Mustang GT. That's why it's got the Brembo brakes on it. It doesn't have drilled or slotted rotors, which whatever, you can add that yourself. But one thing they don't also do, which we'll talk about this when we get inside, is if you guys look inside this Mustang, it's not like the Roush. There's nothing on the inside that says RTR except for a little plaque on the.
Yeah, and the only thing I really saw that was changed, and there was the gear selector, the shift knob.
That's it.
Yeah, this one's got a full package on the inside, so I think that's where the Roush beats it. Now, I want to get into how come you said specifically with this car you hit 90 crowds?
Screwed 90,000.
What was that?
90,000. Okay, this car's $90,000. Tee-hee. Okay.
All right. So, the question I got to ask, because this one brand new is 79, like basically $80,000. Do you think the price difference, the extra 10 grand, would you still get this one over that one?
No.
You don't think so?
No. You know why? Okay, this one does have 810 horsepower, as they claim. And it's got a Whipple supercharger on it, the same thing that the Shelby's use. The reason I say no is because, if we're being honest here, I probably wouldn't even buy that one. I could buy a Mustang GT.
That's true.
And buy a supercharger kit for like $5 or $6 grand and make it just as fast as these cars. Sure, it's not going to be limited plaque or whatever like this one's got on the interior, but I could save for like 40 grand.
See, yeah, that's true. But if I were like the person like, I didn't want to build a car. Like, I just want to buy it already done.
Sure, with a warranty.
And
it does have a warranty.
If I had the money, honestly, I would still spend the extra 10 grand for this. I think, and it's again, personal preference. I just think this one looks better.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, eventually, if Roush does do stuff with the new Mustang, I'll have to compare that.
We haven't seen them yet, yeah.
Yeah, but I do like the overall look of this car more. And even just the extra add-ons, like the wheels look better than the Roush does.
Sure.
I don't know. There's just a lot of things that look better on this car besides the interior.
Yeah. Which, let's get to the interior now. All right, so we're sitting in the 2022 Roush Mustang.
Yeah, and actually, I want to know, because I've driven this car a few times now, and I've sat in this thing more than I care to admit. But what's something that stands out to you about the interior of this car?
This active exhaust button.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I haven't used it very often.
You have or have not?
I haven't. I think we've only used it in one other video before.
It's pretty nice though, because it is on that car. You do have to still go through the Mustang modes on the big screen.
It takes so long.
This thing's you just flick the little thing, which is pretty cool. But it does feel a little cheap. Not gonna lie, it feels like it's just aftermarket thing.
It looks like somebody just slapped it on there, and it looks like the buttons that wouldn't do anything. Kind of like how the hood vent on this car doesn't do anything. But I mean, sitting in this car, the seats I think are really comfortable. I like the brown leather.
Yeah.
It feels almost like an old man spec though, with the black exterior, brown interior. But I think it looks good.
It's nice, yeah.
The interior of this car though is super outdated, to be honest.
Well, it's 10 years old.
Yeah, it's 10 years old. The steering wheel, it looks like they tried to go a little retro on this thing with the big center part right here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that steering wheel is very similar, which we'll talk about when we get in there. But yeah, it is definitely outdated. Obviously, the Ford Sync system is outdated. It's different. That's not even Ford Sync anymore. It's something else. It does have the digital dash, which is, I guess, more modern, you could call it. But yeah, it definitely feels like I'm sitting in a car from 2015.
Yeah. I mean, interior-wise, this one does have a lot more than that other Mustang, but it's not crazy in here. It looks pretty much the same. You got, like, better seats, I guess, and you've got this knob to change.
This one says Roush a lot more in it, too. Like
yeah.
On the door sill, it says Roush. That badge says Roush. You have the Magna Ride Roush thing. Here, the exhaust.
Yeah.
The other one, like I'll show you once we get in there, there's not much.
Yeah, but this one is honestly pretty basic. I don't even know why they did the back seats, to be honest, because nobody
sits there. I mean, it'd be weird if they didn't, though. It would look weird.
That's true.
So they kind of had to. But let's hop in the other one.
All right, let's go for it.
All right, in the RTR Mustang, much newer than that.
A lot newer, and it feels a lot newer inside here.
Well, I mean, it's 2024 or 25. I think it's a 2085.
Yeah, I think it's a 25.
Yeah, this is a really, really nice place to be. I mean, Ford really did do a step up when it came to the interior of the Mustang. I mean, that was a step up from the previous generation too, but this is just better. The one thing I'm not a fan of, and it's not just in the Mustang, the BMWs do this too that I hate. These screens,
big ass single screens.
It literally looks like some out of a Hyundai or a Kia, and I just don't like it.
So I know the Mustang, the new Mustang. I don't know if it's, I don't know how they decide or what they do, but I know there's some where it is a split screen.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a specific trim level, but I think usually the higher trim levels, they have this massive screen right here, which it takes some getting used to be honest.
For sure. For sure. I mean, it's not a bad looking interior. It is nice because, like you said, this starts off life as a premium GT Mustang, right?
Yeah.
And of course, it does have the Bang & Olufsen sound system. The interior in here is really nice. I mean, full leather everywhere. You have stitching all over the dash and everything. The one thing RTR did do is add the shifter,
which honestly, it looks really nice and it's very honestly sleek in here. It kind of matches the overall, just a black interior. So I do like that a lot. I also like, there's like a lot of speakers in this. And you did say it's got that Bang & Olufsen sound system. But I like it's got the speakers on the pillars right here. Just, I don't know, there's just cool features in here. And I also really do like this badge a lot more than
it's actually numbered. Like it's 0084.
Yeah.
So it is a numbered car, and it is a Spec 3, which is like the ultimate one. The one thing I don't like, and this isn't an RTR thing, it's just the newer Mustang in general, is this like fake carbon fiber stuff. It's plastic.
Yeah.
And it just feels tacky. It really does.
It's like plastic weaved.
Yeah, it just feels tacky, but it is a nice interior, and it is nicer than that interior, in my opinion. I just wish it was a different color, not just black.
I think so compared to that one, I think the interior is nicer. The seats are nicer in that one.
Really?
I think the seats are comfortable in here, but I think they could have done more to the seats to make it stand out more. Because it's got that full body look upgrade, and here it just kind of feels the same as a normal Mustang.
Sure. And of course, we do have the drift brake, which is kind of famous on the S650 now. But really, the only thing left to do is take them out for a drive.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Alrighty, so in the RTR Spec 3 Mustang, this thing's a beast. Spoiler alert, this thing is a beast. I mean, just to go over some facts again, 810 horsepower, supercharged 5-liter Coyote V8. Need I say more? I mean, it's an animal. This thing is so much fun to drive. It handles super well in the turns back there, and it drives, oh my God. It's got the power the whole time you need it. It's just a beast. I mean, it is expensive. $90,000 is an expensive amount of money for a Mustang, but when you get a Mustang like this, that's 800 horsepower with a factory warranty, and when you put it in manual and you downshift it down the third gear, and you have a nice straight road, and you just plant your foot down, yeah, it's... Oh my God, that 10-speed is no joke. If you guys are looking for a straight line speed car, the 10-speed on the Mustangs with a supercharger is absolutely nuts. If you guys can't tell, I am a huge supercharger fan. I love all boosted cars, but there is something about a supercharged car that is just, oh my God, you have power constantly, all throughout, all the way up to 7,500 RPM. Now, one gripe I do have with it is it doesn't ride as well as that other Mustang does, because the other one does have Magna Ride, which is added on by Roush. RTR doesn't do that. It is what it is. It rides fine. It's a sports car, so of course you're going to get a bumpy ride and everything, but it's not horrible. It's a nice riding car, and I got to be honest, this thing is a beast. I mean, I didn't know how much more I was going to like this over the Roush or even the Shelbys that we've driven. This thing is so much fun to drive. It handles so well. You know, those extra wheels, because these wheels are lighter than the stock wheels. And of course, we also have that 800 horsepower supercharged Coyote, which is just ready to go. It's begging you to put your foot down constantly. Oh my God. I mean, it's so good. I know Trent's having a lot of fun in that RTR or in the Roush back there. Sorry, I keep mixing the names, but in fact, let me actually get back to where we are, or let's get back to the pad and see what Trent thought about the Roush Mustang.
All right, so now we're inside the 2022 Roush Mustang. And don't you guys worry, I know Evo probably yapped your guys' ear off about the RTR and how it's so great, which, don't get me wrong, that is a great Mustang, that looks great. Personally, I like the way that one looks more than this one. But even though this thing is technically 3 years old, it's still technically a new Mustang, like I've said earlier before. This thing still drives, honestly, amazingly. I think this one probably doesn't fishtail as much as that other one is, because every time I'd see Evo kind of step on, you could see that back end would slide out, and I've never seemed to have any issues with that one. And hey, maybe I'm not driving it as hard as Evo is with that one. But I think this one, honestly, compared to other aftermarket Mustangs like the Shelbys and stuff, I think this one actually handles the best out of all of them I've driven. But that's honestly, I think that's a great thing for the Mustang. These things are known for, honestly, losing control. They're called crowd killers for a reason. And I love the way this one drives. It's super smooth. I don't have to think about it too much. Overall, I think it's a fun experience to drive this car. And the brakes are great on this car. They're super responsive. We come up to a couple turns a little too fast, and I don't really have to worry about, honestly, missing the turn or sliding. The acceleration of the car is absolutely amazing. It drops a couple gears, and you can just feel this thing take off. And we'll get to that in a second. It's just a lot of windy roads out here. But this is another great car just for the canyon carving, because you can do, honestly, everything with this car. You can take it straight line speed. It can handle turns pretty well. Honestly, I like this car a lot. I'm excited to see what Roush is going to do, if they're going to do anything with the S650 generation of the Mustang, because they killed it with this one, and it's going to be exciting to see what they do with the new one. RTR, they did a great job with the S550 or this generation, and they did a great thing with the new generation as well. But yeah, right now I'll step on, we'll see what the acceleration is like. And honestly, it picks up really fast. I wasn't worried about losing control at all. Honestly, a great driving experience overall. But that's just my personal opinion. So we'll have to hear what Evo says about his car as well. But honestly, that's all I have for this car.
Well, what do you think?
To be honest, they're both, honestly, still really nice Mustangs. I like that one a little bit more. But don't get me wrong, this is still a fun car to drive.
For sure.
It still looks good. It's still honestly, it's a monster on the road.
Yeah.
But personal preference, I'm taking that all day, every day.
The S650 is just a better version of the S550 Mustang. Yeah. I mean, it's got a nicer interior. I think it looks really cool, especially with the way this thing is set up. And I mean, that supercharger is really, really nice. It's the Whipple supercharger. I wish it made more noise, kind of like, that one would with the Roush Performance one.
Kind of like how a Hellcat makes a lot of noise.
Exactly.
Down the street.
Exactly. But this is much easier to handle than a Hellcat, and much smaller than a boat.
I mean, I don't know if it handles better, but
it definitely handles
I feel
better than a Hellcat.
It's not as heavy.
Yeah. But you guys let us know. What do you guys think? Would you go with the RTR Mustang, and again, $90,000 for all of this? It is a Spec 3, or that, which is $80,000, but it's also a Spec 3 or whatever Roush considers their ultimate version of the Mustang. But let us know down below what you think. If you enjoy this kind of content, please, please, please subscribe. Make sure you like and comment. If you want to see me and Trent yap about random stuff from time to time on the podcast, check out Accelerate. And I guess we'll just leave it on here.
Yeah, I think that's it. We'll see you guys in the next one.